Okay. Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday again. I feel like it was a Friday when I did my last um, installment of grooming, and that's what I'm going to continue with today. And I'm sorry they've been so spread out. It's um, it's just it's not like I'm talking about the Red Sox or something that's lighthearted and easy to talk about. So it is it is what it is. As I had to reflect on some things, and you know memory's a funny thing, and I don't want to speak on every little thing. I mean, that would take hundreds of hours. So to try and be concise and talk about what I think matters most takes a little time to think about. And I also don't prepare notes or anything like that. So it's gonna be this is gonna be the third video that I'm doing in progression about the grooming. So I left off saying that it wasn't once in a while with my buddies spending the night over at Dace's, and I had broken up with. I didn't break. I had the relationship with my girlfriend had ended in middle school, and Dace was really excited about that and told me that he would get me the special present that he had gotten for one person in the past. So things things were getting hard for me at this point to handle. Um, I just had no space, man. And I know I had mentioned it in the last one. He was just always around. He was my teacher, so all during school, and the dog at my house, and baseball practice and games and play practice, and it was just there was no facet of my life, and he had interjected himself into my family life. There was no part of my life where he was not involved. I mean, it was you know I'd have to ask someone else that isn't me, but I feel like anywhere I went he was there, anywhere he went I was there. um which in the beginning was fine. And I can't stress that enough. It was fine. It wasn't like I was the first kid that ever hung around him. Like, a bunch of kids always wanted to hang around. But stuff started to change. I had mentioned that he would, like, horse around with students, and I would notice that more often, and eventually every time horsing around with me, it would be different than with other kids, and he'd end up once in a while he'd brush up like an elbow or a knee up against my private parts, but then it turned into like him grabbing me, and like just briefly, where my mind was like, was that an accident? Um, but then it's every time, and now it's hard. Again, this was a long time ago, so it's hard to remember exactly what happened before certain things, but one of the nights that I spent the night at his house was in the shower, and there was a window next to his shower, and it was on the second floor. His apartment was on the second floor, so it wasn't street level. which makes this all seem. I was in the shower and I like moved the shower curtain and looked out the window, and there was a roof right under that window, or at the sight level of that window, and Dace was outside on the roof looking in the window at me in the shower. We didn't make eye contact. It wasn't like I was moving the shower curtain to look out the window. I think I was moving it to like grab shampoo or something. And I saw him move so that I couldn't see him, standing on the roof outside of his bathroom window watching me shower. Talking about that now makes me wonder why didn't I do or say something? I don't have an answer for that. I do remember being scared and wondering, did I see what I think I just saw? Am I so overwhelmed with this guy always being in my life that I'm just imagining him always being around now? Like, did I just see what I thought I saw? When I got out of the shower, he was in the apartment like normal. Nothing was said. I didn't, what do you do? And maybe some people would, maybe other people would handle it different. I was just confused and terrified and wondering if now I'm going crazy. Sometimes so again, I don't think every detail of everything needs to be talked about, but so he took me and my best friend at the time, one of the best friends I've ever had. He took us to Disney World in Florida, just me, Dace, and my buddy. And we had, we stayed in a hotel. Me and my buddy had the bedroom. Dace stayed out on the couch. I ended up getting like sun poisoning. I got super sunburned. But when we came back, I remember getting in trouble with Dace because he said that he was upset. He said that he was upset with me and felt like I didn't appreciate the trip that he took me and my friend on because I did not ask him to come stay in bed with me and my friend. So he felt however he felt. He was upset. He said that, I didn't appreciate what he was doing for me because I didn't ask if he wanted, the bed. What am I going to do? I think I said sorry. Didn't know. But like, what the fuck? Again, weird. And these are just small things that while all this is going on, I'm obviously not, maybe not obviously, but I'm not able to focus on my schoolwork between living in a prison, like a Dace prison, between that and playing sports. I just didn't have the mental capacity to focus on doing my schoolwork. And Dace would give me the option pretty often. If I didn't want to go to school, he'd pick me up from my house, and as if he was going to take me to school, and he would drop me off at his house, and then he would go to school and go to work, and I could do what I wanted at his house. and I would be by myself at his house, and I thought it was cool. I thought I was getting away with something. But between all the times that he allowed me to do that, and me not doing much schoolwork or not being able to, or whatever the case may be, up until that point, I was a good student. Um, this is before I get to that. This is the point where I'm in eighth grade, and I don't I haven't had a girlfriend. That girlfriend who broke up with me wanted to get back together. We did for like a week. Dace canceled the school play. Told me that unless I broke up with her, we would not be doing the school play. So I did, and I was very mean to her about that. So the play went on. But that's about the time where this gift was coming into play. And on the surface level, the gift was great. So he said that I explained it in my last one. He said he got me this gift. He has a friend that runs a massage parlor. He's gonna have a woman come to Dace's house and give me a massage. And so I'm gonna be in just a towel, and I'm not gonna get into it's just a brief. So I'm in a towel. He Dace explains to me that my hands have to be tied to the bedposts so that I can't, grab at this girl or force her to do anything. And I need to have a blindfold on in the event I'm out with my friends and I see this girl who gave me a massage, so I can't tell my friends like, oh hey, that's the girl that gave me a massage. And at 13, I was like, makes sense. I get it. Cool. Um, so I agreed to that. I'm in just a towel tied to Dace's bed, and I hear a car pull up outside. I hear women speaking to a man. I hear women's voices coming up. Dace was on the second floor. I hear women's voices in the stairway coming up, and the door opens, and they don't speak or anything, but we could tell they're getting things ready, like oils and like stuff for a massage. And um, he would leave MTV playing on the television in his room when this happened. And at the time, everything was half-hour segments, so I could tell basically how long things went on based on how many different shows went by on MTV. So it was between hour and a half. And I got a great massage from this woman, and I ended up getting a hand job and oral sex, which was beyond my wildest dreams, really, as a 13-year-old kid. Um, the only strange thing is I remember the girl's nails falling off and dropping on me, and her picking them up and putting them back on. But after that, they came back, asked me how it was, said it was great, and the reason I brought that up is because that's the time where I'm missing school, where Dace has dropped me off at his house, and my grades are not doing well. And Dace had spoke to, I couldn't tell you who, some people in the school system, and about me, and about my grades were slipping, my attendance was poor, and my maturity level might not be on par with kids who are about to go into high school. And so I was held back in 8th grade. And so now all of my friends that I've been in class with since kindergarten are now going to leave middle school and go to high school. And I'm going to stay in middle school and repeat 8th grade. And now I don't have those friends that I was telling you about with me all the time with Dace. Now it's this new group of kids who I have to make friends with. And now my friends who know everything about what, my life are now going to high school. And, looking back on it, another manipulation by him to keep me under his watch. And that was it was hard, devastating. I lost all my friends. As much as you try to stay friends, I mean, they're high school kids now. I'm still in middle school. And so I didn't really have anybody to turn to but Dace. I'm sure that was the plan. Sure that was his plan. And I was pretty defeated, never been kept back. Never anything like that. And so I was pretty broken. And pretty soon thereafter, I would notice when I would be home at my mom's house. I obviously had my own room and I had a computer and the internet and stuff. And I couldn't tell you how many times, but multiple times, I would be on my computer looking at stuff and trying to, being by myself, being a young kid going through puberty, like, taking care of business by myself, looking at stuff on the computer. And I would hear noise in the backyard, which the window was from you to me, a couple feet, right behind my computer. Multiple times when I went and looked out the window, I saw the top of Dace's head pressed up against my house, trying not to be seen. And I didn't do anything. I would call his house to see, like, am I seeing things? And typically, his answer machine would pick up after 3 rings. But anytime that he was out creeping around my backyard, or if he was on the other line, it would just ring and ring and ring and ring. And every single time that I saw the top of his head, I called his house and it would just ring and ring and ring and ring. You could argue that he was on the other line, and I made that up, but I didn't. And in order for him not to know that I know, I need to finish what I'm doing. That's not an easy thing. And having to do that repeatedly, not having to, choosing to, because I was scared and didn't know what else to do, doing that repeatedly has an impact, has an effect on my mental health and my well-being and my sexuality and my all sorts of stuff. Um, the massage thing happened again. My second time in 8th grade. First time happened when I was in 8th grade. Second time happened when I was in 8th grade for the second time. And all the same stuff, except this time he said I was going to get paid $500 to do it, which was like, wow, okay. But during this one, it was a little less massage and more sexual stuff. And the woman, the masseuse, kissed me, like not on the cheek. And I felt stubble, or I thought I did. And the person must have noticed that I either made a face or pulled away, and they didn't do that again. Um, and again, I felt the nails falling off. Um, excuse me, but that stubble thing made an impact in my brain, and I decided that I wasn't going to do that again. I wasn't going to let this massage happen again because there's just questions. Could I be sure about any of it? No. At the time, no, couldn't. But just didn't want to do it anymore. And same stuff happened. Hand job, oral sex. Then I get paid $500, and Dace asked how it was after. I said it was great. And I think I might have said this time was a little weird, but it was good. I don't remember. And I think he was like, "Wow, it was weird." And I don't. I think. Um, Now Dace is starting to tell people things about me that aren't true so that they won't want to be around me. Whether it's telling, I don't know. I guess it's hearsay, so it is what it is. But telling girls' families that I'm inappropriate with girls and to keep their daughters away from me. Um, Starting to tell me things about my really good friends who I'm trying to hang out with, and he's telling me things about either them or their family that should make me not want to hang out with them. Um, it's a really hard time now as a 14-year-old. I'm 14 years old. Um, it was dark times, and I had no one to turn to except him, which was difficult. And I remember I would have these times where I would shut down. I'd be with him doing something after play practice or something, but it would just be me and him, and I would get in these like states where I would kind of just stare off into the distance and I wouldn't say anything for extended periods of time, 20 minutes, and having him repeatedly talk to me, and I just wouldn't look at him or speak, and I was just off somewhere. And I remember him like crying and asking me what's okay, and I mean, what's wrong, and what he can do to make me okay. And but eventually, oh, I should mention now, he has made it his mission to make sure that I graduate 8th grade and go to high school. So every single school day after school, he was coming to my house and doing my homework with me, doing my homework for me. Um, So now he's around me more. And so it went from occasional Red Sox game with me and 3 friends and him, paintballing some weekends, once in a while going snowboarding, to now all my friends are in high school. I'm kept back in middle school. I have nobody to turn to but him for anything. He's my teacher again. Comes home from school with me to do my homework with me. Won't leave until it's done. Walking my dog. Baseball practice, play practice. Anyone that thinks that I could have done something, although you're right, could have done something. I was incapable. I was incapable of doing anything. What do I do? Who do I tell? What do I say to them if I'm going to tell? Everyone was his friend or coworker, or their family was friends with him for years. Like, who do you turn to? I'm not asking, it's rhetorical. I believed I had no one to turn to because I believed that his power would override anyone that I told anything to. And who am I? Why would anyone believe what I was saying? It was outlandish. Needless to say, the third massage happens. I make sure that the blindfold isn't on properly so that I can see. And I hear the women, just like every other time, outside talking, car doors, people coming up the stairs. And the masseuse came in the room. It is not a woman. It is, in fact, Dace, naked, with a wig on, a woman's wig, and fake nails. And as a young boy, I had to make a decision on what to do, and I decided to do nothing and to pretend like the blindfold was on properly and that I could not see that it was him. And that was difficult. It's difficult to sit through something like that. And obviously, it caused me a lot of problems. But that's as much as I have for today. Um, it's a lot. Some days it's easier to talk about than others. But that's the extent of what I have today. I'll try and take some notes and explain where it went from there, because that was not the end. But anybody that sat through this, I'm sorry if it upset anyone. It's just my story. It's my truth. I appreciate everyone that's here. I love you. I love myself. It's a little tough talking about this stuff sometimes. Sometimes it's cake. Today's today's one of those days. But thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here, and see you guys again soon. Thank you.